Today I'm excited to bring you a rather short video demonstrating the new capabilities of the latest version of Model Railroad Switch List in Manifest Formatter. In the previous version, 2.08, and in fact introduced in version 2.0, was the ability to auto-fit field text. Historically, within the program, and still available with this option deselected, the user had to manually choose how many letters basically were to be allotted to each column, and then the program would truncate the text to maintain those boundaries. This could get to be tedious, especially moving from one train to another, where location names, track names, things could be could be varied. So in version 2.0, we introduced this auto-fit field text, which takes away the requirement to manually select these widths. And what the program will do is read the CSV file from JMRI and look at those fields and determine how wide each field needs to be to fit the text. So you can see here that no data is lost. These columns are wide enough to display all of the available data. Except over in the right, we see that it looks like we didn't lose any data, but these two red marked plus signs indicate that the destination track field has gone beyond the page margin. And if you had longer names in here, they would have actually written off the end of the page, and you could have lost information about the destination track for the particular car or locomotive. And things would have been even worse had we tried to print this in two-column mode in order to save paper. The program again would not honor the fidelity of column boundaries and would overwrite, making a real mess. And column 1 overwrites into column 2 writes off the edge of the page, so information is lost all the way around. And the recourse is for the user to go into the preferences and to reduce the columns that are being printed. So you give up some information in order to make it fit in the page format that you want. And I saw this as a real issue, that people had to keep finagling with these things in order to get usable documents and not have data loss. So I've been working over the past few months on the latest version of Model Railroad Switch List and Manifest Formatter, and I've come up with a solution to this issue. So now, with the new version of the program running, we are back to one column in a 10-point font. We still have the auto text field selected, but now in the new version, this program has an added option, or not option, it's an added feature. And that is, when selected, the program will, as before, go through and size the selected fields to be the appropriate width to display the information that's available. But then it will look at the area of the page that's available to print, be that a page width or a column width if you're in 2-column per page mode. And it will then reduce the width of these columns in order to make them fit within that page. And then when the data is printed, the lines within those fields will be wrapped in order to present all of the data and keeping it within the available boundaries. Okay, so now we can see that the manifest created from the new version of the program, we see it's the same information being displayed across the page. But now, in order to maintain the margins on the page, the program has shortened these fields slightly, and we can see now that the track field here is actually wrapped into a second line so that everything can fit within the page boundaries. And same thing down here in the destination track field is wrapped in order to keep everything fitting. And so we now have the ability to select as much information as you want up to, in the program for cars, we have 10 fields plus the pickup message. So you can fill up all 10 fields, and the program will automatically squeeze those fields in order to fit the available space. Now, we can see this in a more dramatic fashion. If, say, as we get a little older and our sight is failing and we want to use a larger font, you can now not worry about things going off the edge of the page. You can use the large font so it's easier to read. You can see the font's much larger here. And it'll take more pages to paper to print the lines out, but you lose no data. And if we put another column in here, it would squeeze them a little more. You could have all 10 columns populated, and it will keep them within the page. Additionally, if then you wanted to save paper, you could even go to 2 columns per page, and it will squeeze the data down even more to fit within a column. At some point, this gets to be almost vertical reading, and I'm not sure anybody would want to use this type of format, but this is kind of an extreme example to demonstrate that you can have a large print, large amount of data displayed and not lose any information. Now, to get back to a more likely scenario, we can go back down to, say, at least a 12 or 12 font is good. And let's go in and let's say, we recently introduced the ability to put in car images. And how will this work with those? Well, it works exactly the same way. And you can see here that the manifest is written, and my computer's not the fastest, so it takes a little time to render. But you can see here that it still squeezes the data down, fits in the images, and just like in the previous version, if there is no car image, then it shows the type and color in those fields, but otherwise it shows the display. And if we go to 1 column per page mode, we get a very nice looking manifest with large font and easy to read, no data loss, and should be a real benefit to your operators. So that's the big feature in the latest version of the program. It should be posted on the website by the end of the week. I just need to finish up the documentation updates, and hope you all enjoy using it. And as always, please send me an email if you have any suggestions or bug reports, questions, anything like that about the program. Always happy to interact with users. Thanks and have a great day.